All right, so another clip that came through on my content request channel. So let's take a look.
This is why I say, stop trying to be this good dude. Stop trying to be this good, romantic type of guy. Because she will still leave you. Y'all got to understand that women operate off their emotions. So if her emotions say, you know what, I don't want to do this no more, she going to follow right along with that. Doesn't matter what you did for her, bro. It don't matter how many dates you took her on, how many trips you took her on, how much money you spent on her.
Yeah, this is entirely true, right? So when it comes to thinking about the future and the past, right? This is more of a logical framework way of thinking. So to think about the future a lot, you have to sit there and logically deduce and try to predict what's going to happen. Thinking about the past is also you have to have some sort of reflective thought to be able to look at the past and exist there on some level. This also requires this is all logical in some form, right? Women exist in the moment primarily, especially when it comes to their emotions. So even if a guy in the past did something for them really nice, right? In the moment, they're not going to remember what some guy did. They're going to care about what's happening now every single time. Even if you did a lot, they're not necessarily going to consider that as valuable. So this is why a lot of guys that give a lot for nothing essentially and try to be very transactional with things. This is why they inevitably end up getting screwed because women don't really care about that. That's just the truth. Logically, they'll respect it. They're like, oh, I'm really glad he did that. But their emotions are what we care about because that is what decides what they do, right? So, like he said, this is actually the truth. So, I'm tired of this holier than thou. Oh, I'm going to be a nice guy and I'm going to get some results out of that. It's like, no, you're actually unaware of how immoral you're actually being in reality because you're trying to say, I'm going to trade my good actions and servitude for compliance. I think that's just as transactional as a girl saying, I only want to date a guy for his money. So it's like, what, you get a couple flowers for a girl, and now all of a sudden you expect some sort of praise or compliance in return? I mean, that's sort of stupid, isn't it? So anyway, point is, I mean, he's 100% bang on when it comes to this concept.
To her, it doesn't matter. When she's ready to go, she's going. When her emotions say, yo, it's time to go, she gotta listen.
Yeah.
Take all her orders from her emotions. Her emotions is her cap.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you, bro, you cannot do nothing about it. You cannot stop her emotions. It's impossible. This is why I don't even try to keep a woman in check. I'm not trying.
So this is where I think I kind of lose him a little bit when I say keep a woman in check, right? Part of this process of girls feeling a certain way is understanding, can this guy handle the vast array of things that will come his way? Setting boundaries is one of those things. Now, it's not like girls are out here consciously testing for this. Some of the smarter ones, they do consciously test for this, right? But generally speaking, it's an automated thing. So this is not, when it comes to checking them, sometimes they actually want to be checked, believe it or not. It's up to you as the guy to figure out when that is in the appropriate time. Because if it's not appropriate, you can also have some negative emotions from that as well. So yeah, it's all encompassing. Okay, you have to be the perfect man. I understand it's impossible to be the perfect guy. I get that. I'm saying you have to aspire to be that guy because that's the only guy that actually has a chance in this game. Everybody else is screwed.
This is why I'm not trying to lock no woman down. I'm not trying to control no woman. I'm not trying to do any of that.
Yeah, so when it comes to trying to lock her down, I 100% agree with all this, right? As a man, you're not supposed to want to lock a girl down. This is you playing the role of the feminine. It's not how it works. It's never worked this way.
Because I understand it's pointless. It's not going to get you nowhere. Now,
Yeah.
if a chick show me she a good quality chick, then I'll rock out with her. I'll get into a relationship. However, I'm not investing my all into it. I don't get into no relationship like, okay, this is going to be my one and only.
Never, yeah. Because if you give it all like that, really, what's there left to get, right? You have to perpetually keep something in the tank. And a lot of guys have a very big problem with this. And I'm so confused because all of our lives are performances. For some reason, why is there an excuse made for a relationship? A relationship is a performance like anything else. It really is. And for guys that don't want that as a challenge, I'm sort of tired of it. I'm sort of tired of this weak ass mentality where, oh, well, I just want to be able to come sit home and whatever. It's like, well, it doesn't mean you can't do that. I'm just saying you have to understand there is performances and there's performing you need to do to make sure that relationship goes a certain way. And it's not always direct action towards the girl, like taking her on dates and stuff. That's maybe one fraction of it. But the other side of it is, what you show them. If you reveal too much, if you're too comfortable, if you're doing things that are unflattering, these are all things you have to consider for the long term, right? You don't build a house on a foundation. You don't, because if the foundation isn't good, even if you build the perfect house on top of that, when that foundation comes apart, the whole house gets destroyed. So this is what I'm talking about. Don't chip away your own foundation here by doing things that are unflattering that could potentially affect the attractiveness of your woman, right? Or the attractiveness of you in your woman's eyes. Okay. Very important to remember. Welcome to life. I'm just here reporting the truth. A lot of people have a problem with this. I don't really get it. Accept that life is a performance and you won't have all of these stupid resistances to needing to maintain some level of, I guess, whether it be performance, character, or whatever you want to call it, right? There's a lot of different names for this.
Forever. I don't get into a relationship with that mindset. Nope. I already know one day you're gonna leave me. That's how I operate.
I mean, what this guy's talking about is the essence of the thing that a lot of people have heard. She's never yours, just your turn. I mean, there is some truth in this, but I do think the way that I like to describe this is, even though there's a lot of truth in this, I do think that you can make a turn last a lifetime. I think that's the goal, right? Your turn has to last a lifetime. Because if we're looking at it statistically speaking, you're going to outlive her, okay? Or sorry, she's going to outlive you, right? Guys live less than women. And generally speaking, you're going to be a little bit older, right? So normally you go first anyway. So if your turn lasted your lifetime, I guess if your goal is monogamy, I think that is obviously achievable. So I think it's a better way to accept that, yes, she can leave if the emotions change. But at the same time, if you do a good enough job with your performance, I think that that turn can last a lifetime, and that's all you could ask for. I think that's a fair expectation. If you want to support me and get extra content, make sure to click the link in the description below to access my Patreon.